Good evening, everyone. This is Rajni here again, as promised. So, today we're going to talk about confused parent when you really don't know what to do. And not only is the parent confused, it's very scary also for the parent because out there in the market you have n number of therapies, and I'm currently actually in talks with a few people, and that's what encouraged me to just simply go ahead and put this up to help one and all whoever could be in that situation where their child is 2 years plus, is not talking, is sometimes having huge behavior issues or maybe no behavior issues, but they somewhere inherently have a feeling that he is a little different from what they have seen their other children as, or whatever they've seen children around as. And so they are worried, but then they also don't want to be fleeced, and they don't want to be put into some sort of a difficult situation, which very much is a possibility outside. And so this video goes out simply as a help, that how do you figure it out that you really need to go for a test, or that you don't need a test as a parent. What are the telltale signs? How do you tell the difference? See, it's very easy for a parent when the child has a profound difficulty, and anybody and everybody looking at the child will say, yeah, there's a problem there. The parent will take from an early age. The bigger risk is for children where there is nothing visible. uh, on top of that, it's the parental affection mask, I would say. Their eyes, they have a rose colored spectacle that obviously they love their child, so they, half the things they don't even see when they're looking at the child, but technically there are a lot of things that you need to be keeping in view. The first one of them, the first and foremost, being that if the child has even 1% of a difficulty, the sooner you identify, the sooner you provide help, the better it is. Rather than wait and wait for it to compound from 1% to 10%, and then let it become visible for you to know and then start working on it. So on the same line, so let's say here we have an example of, let's say, a kid, baby X. So this baby X is let's say is nearing 2 years, or is 2 years of age, doesn't speak anything other than one papa or mama, or maybe not even that, or maybe that, but only so much. Okay, and then so parents are worried, is there an issue, is there not an issue? Now, first thing, according to the genes, according to our mental makeup, a child typically will begin to speak, say, around 1.5 years of age. Some of them will be delayed, they will speak around 2 years. At the most, you can stretch it to 2 years and 6 months. So, starting 2 years, just keep your, keep the kid in the radar. Don't just be very comfortable, be a little stressed out, is for the good of the child. So keep observing that 2 years onwards, is this child developing speech properly or not? And speech is something, it happens differently for different children. For some, for a long time nothing happens, then suddenly they start blurting out a lot of things. For some others, it's a gradual process. A few words this month, and a few words the next month, and then slowly and suddenly. But if from 2 to 2.5, the child is not talking, is not showing any signs of speaking, then it's a danger signal. And how you will figure that out is that uh, a child who's frustrated will make an attempt to help you understand what is it that he wants. So a frustrated child will, for example, frustrated in the sense that, suppose he wants to have the bottle opened up. So he's trying to tell you somehow that, just open this bottle, or open this, whatever, this toy or something, and you are not able to understand. So he's trying to say kholo, something he will come up with in case of a regular kid, and something he will associate, and you will associate कि अच्छा ये खोलो के लिए ये बोलता है. And something, even if it's incomprehensible, he will come up with something. When a child has a difficulty, he will try hard, he will be irritated, he'll be frustrated, but he won't be able to come up with much. and then the behaviors start because of that frustration that he's not able to help you understand what he wants. Then he's crying, crying, crying. Also the fact that there are temper tantrums, so to calm this child down is a big deal. Now majorly there's a huge confusion between, especially for people who have kids are the first timers. So most of the time, like in my case also, my elder one was diagnosed with autism, so I did not have a child before that, so I had no experience. And the common notion which generally the doctors say, and mostly so your in-laws tell you, that तुमने बिगाड़ा है बच्चे को, और तुमने बच्चे को उसकी हर एक बात मानी है, तो अब जो है उसकी बात नहीं मान रहे हो, तो वो बहुत बड़ा बवाल कर रहा है, which is not completely not true. There is a possibility, there is a huge possibility that this might be the case. I would say 60% it could be the case कि वाकई एक ही एक बच्चा है, पहला बच्चा है, आपने बिगाड़ दिया, आपने सारी बात मान लिया, अब वो टैंट्रम करता है तो छोड़ता ही नहीं है, रोना ही नहीं हटता है जब तक आप उसको देते नहीं हो, सिर मारता है, जमीन पे लेटता है, काटता है, कुछ करता है. It's quite a possibility, but you cannot rule out. Somewhere at the back of your head have this thing that when I try to convince this kid, it doesn't get convinced. When I try something, it doesn't work, and he's going on and on and on and on crying. And then another way of figuring it out is, if you stop paying attention to this child who's just crying, 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 and the minute he quietens down, and then you say, very good, now you're quiet, so now I'm going to listen to you. And if he begins to follow all of this, that means that he's responding to something that you are technically doing. Like when we talk about behavior correction in autism, so what is it that we do? We when the child is showing too much of a tantrum, we are not entertaining the tantrum. Now in any case, whether the child has autism or does not have autism, a behavior correction technique will help all children. Now my younger one, who's 5 now, I use most of the behavior correction techniques that I learned with my older one on the younger one, because it doesn't harm. I mean, it doesn't say, oh, it doesn't write on his head over here, neurologically diverse or autistic or phalana, whatever. No, it's a technique which will work. So if you are having tantrum issues, then it's good to be going a little technical. And the way to go a little technical is stop paying attention to the child, stop encouraging the tantrum by giving in. Because when the child is very understanding, is very calculative, I will shout this much, I will bite it, I will be on the floor, I will get what I want. They will be angry, someone might even give me a whack, but at the end of the day, I'll end up getting what I wanted. So this is the route. So we don't want that to happen. So as a matter of fact, even if the roof comes down, you are not going to entertain when it's put up the wrong way. And you will simply behave like he doesn't even exist over there. Just keep doing your thing, don't get upset about it, and then tell him, sit him down, talk to him nicely, that whatever it is you want, you say it nicely, you get it. You don't say it nicely, you don't get it. Now if the child is very, very mildly impacted or not impacted with autism, he will understand like this. If the child is impacted with autism and to quite a deal, he will not understand. Then you will have to go the very, very technical way. The minute he keeps quiet and you provide the reinforcer and all of that, then it's a technical drill, and then great job, and training his mind around. But these are the telltale signs for the parents, because when you start talking like that, you're looking in the eyes of the kid, you're seeing his understanding, there is no issue. You don't have to run behind doctors and people. So these are my if I would call it gharelu nuskhas for you as parents, if you're worried, to figure out that whether the child has an issue, does not have an issue. So you could try these techniques. Second, look out for stimming. एक ही तरीके से कार्ड्स के साथ खेलना, शैम्पू को उल्टा करके दबा के गिराना, स्विच को ऑन ऑफ ऑन ऑफ ऑन ऑफ ऑन ऑफ करते ही रहना. Not that these things the regular ones will not do. Even they do. My younger one, 5 years now, was majorly into one particular act. But then a regular kid, for that matter, a so-called regular kid for that matter, will soon get bored and outgrow the stimming. And that's the different sign. So they will outgrow the stimming and they'll not want to do it. Fine, I had enough fun out of it. I don't want to do it anymore. But a child on the spectrum may not outgrow it, because the reason why it is happening is different. The reason why this child is getting a temporary thrill out of it, he's getting bored, so he's amusing himself. But now his brain is racing elsewhere. He's looking at various other things and he's trying to find out, okay, how can I get more thrill? This becomes boring. That aspect doesn't happen because incidental learning is less with autism. So it just keeps on and on and on with the fingers and with the spinner and with the lights. So these are the telltale signs of knowing the differences. Second, when he's with kids, is he in his own world, lost totally to himself, or if he is uh, playing with children, he's interested, he's interacting. Again, autism is not a gray, it's not a black and white thing, it's in shades of gray. So a child who's still interacting with kids might still be on the spectrum for all we know, but it's only when he grows up with age and we see that very minorly, but he's impacted. But doesn't matter, you have to keep your eyes open to see if it is there or it is not there, and probably it's not even there, but at least you must know. So the areas are social, where you will find out how is he interacting with other children, what is his awareness around the environment, is he like a lost soul, so happy in his own world, or is he looking at various things. If you're only very observant about your child, you don't need to go out for a test to actually put a stamp there or something. You would know just by observing that something is amiss, or that no, I'm just being worried. But 2.5 and not talking, there is no bargaining on it. You are taking him for a test. 2.5 and not talking, that's it. Because then it is late. Okay, then people say, wo 3 saal ka bola, wo 3.5 saal ka bola. No, there is a problem. 2.5 not talking, there is a problem. So from 2 to 2.5, just keep your your eyes open. Be a little stressful, like I said, stressed out, like I said, that don't be very easy कि अपने आप कर लेगा. So behaviors is one area. Your awareness is another area. Awareness around his surroundings. The way he plays with his toys is another area. His tantrums is another area. And well, of course, language is the main area. So, and then also keep an eye on his learning pace, because if there is a neurological condition, then his average learning pace, because of all of these factors, will be slightly slower than the other ones. So while others are able to recognize colors by a particular age, he's not doing that. Others are able to recognize alphabets, and he's still not even looking at the letter A. So all of those things, but that can still come later. For now, just be focused on these areas and very critically observe, and then you can always figure out deep down that I do need to go for a test, or it's okay, I don't need to go for a test. I hope this information helps, and thank you so much. In case you have some queries, you could put it up on my YouTube channel, where I'm going to be posting this, as well as on my Facebook. And if I can be of help to anybody, I will feel glad. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.